Well, hello there. Okay, so now we're going to attach our gas system. I've built a shelf which slides in quite nicely here. Which I can demonstrate very quickly. So I don't need to show all the way, but basically that slides in there. Blah, blah, blah. Lovely. And then once that's in, then the gas cylinder sits on top of that shelf and tucks away quite nicely at the back of the cabinet here. So I've cut away a little bit of the bodywork here, but not so much that it doesn't structurally damage the strength of the vehicle, but just enough so that we can fit the gas bottle nice and far out towards the skin of the vehicle, giving us plenty of room in here. Oh, lovely. Okay. So next what we're doing is gas. For obvious reasons, I have to say to everybody, make sure you know what you're doing before you go fitting any gas stuff. For legal reasons, obviously, do all your own research. I'm just showing you what I do. If you choose to go ahead and do something like that, then that's your own business, but good luck. So what we're doing is gas system, LPG gas system, and I need this filler valve, right? This filler valve is going to be going to the outside of the vehicle because in a lot of countries you can't fill up your tank on the inside of the vehicle. It has to be from outside. It's a legal thing, which is kind of cool. So we have this nice Gaslow system here. Now I need to drill a 70mm hole, which is a fairly big, sizable hole in the van. And I didn't really want to go ahead and take all the trouble to buy a 20-pound drill bit to drill a hole in the side of the vehicle that's 20mm, because it's quite a large hole. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a very small hole, 3mm or something, and then with a compass on the outside of the vehicle I'm going to draw on my the correct size 70mm hole, and then I'm going to take the 3mm drill and just keep drilling around in lots and lots of little circles around it, around all of that line, and just keep punching that out. And then I'll take my jigsaw and I'm going to masking tape off the outside of the vehicle so that the paintwork doesn't get scratched, and then just use the metal cutting bit on the jigsaw to cut those holes out. And then I can file it to make it a nice clean circle. Now it's a little forgiving because obviously the way that this system fits together, it allows you for a little bit of play. So if it's not a perfect circle, it's okay, you won't be able to see it. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm fitting my gas vent into the floor underneath where the filler valve is going to be, and also this section where the gas is, it's a compartment. So if for any reason we have a leak coming from the back of this, or anything in the system starts to leak at any point, even though we've got a gas alarm, gas is heavier than air, so this vent is going to be down here. If anything leaks, the gas will go straight out of the vent. So just extra security and protection for us. And it's good that it's in a compartment like this. Now, you definitely wouldn't go ahead and attach this in the body of the vehicle anywhere that it's not in a compartment, especially if you didn't have a gas alarm, because it would be very silly for obvious reasons. But I don't know why I bother telling you that. It's common sense. So yeah, that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. So the same again, I'm going to put this gas vent in down here. So I've marked on the hole with a bit of pencil. I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to start drilling out this hole. And this has quite a large lip on it, so it's very forgiving. So even if my hole is not a perfect circle this shape, but it's a little bigger or it's a little wobbly, it doesn't matter, because you'd only be able to see that if you were underneath the vehicle looking up at it, which would be a weird thing to do. So that's what we're doing. Cool. All right, I'll get back to you when we've done a bit more. Hi, okay, so we're doing well here. The latest thing that I've just done, I would have liked to have shown you before, but I'm rubbish and I didn't. So I can show you now, is I've put in the heat source Propex heater. So to do this, they give you a stencil sheet and they give you markings underneath. I've just drilled 2 holes into the base of the vehicle. Now for these, they have hot pipes coming out for the exhausts. So the pipe is a 20mm wide pipe. So I've made the hole 40mm. So when the pipe goes through the hole, it doesn't touch the metal sides, which means the hot pipe won't conduct the heat through into the base of the vehicle. So I've just put those 2 holes in. I didn't have a 40mm metal cutting hole saw, so instead what I did was I took a 3mm metal drill, drew my hole on there, and I took the metal drill and I just drilled lots of holes round in a circle, and then took the jigsaw with a metal cutting bit and just jigsawed it out. It's not the most perfect, pretty circle, but it doesn't matter because it does the job and no one's going to be looking at it. Then I fix it down with these fixing brackets. Because the bed of the vehicle itself wasn't totally flat, it has these ridges. What you can see is I fixed it on this side of the ridges, but if you look around the other side here, there's a couple of I've taken some pieces of metal, leftover metal, and in fact they were metal from the brace that I cut off on the side of the vehicle here. And I took those pieces of metal and I just folded them round to act as spacers, and then you can see I've screwed them down there just to raise this off, because this machine should always be raised off and not touching the vehicle itself, to allow for it to get hot and not conduct heat. Obviously these metal brackets are okay, but you don't want to have a lot of contact with the vehicle. So that we've done. Now if I take you around outside, you'll have a look at the exhaust for the heater. So come and have a look at this. Here, let me take the camera for a second. Let me show you what we've got here. Okay, so under here we've got, here we go. So I don't know if you can see, yeah, here we go. We've got our exhaust pipe, and that is running down, always sloping downhill, and then set so that the exhaust pipe is pointing downwards. And here we've got the inlet pipe so that the air can go in for combustion. Now I've pointed it backwards towards the rear of the vehicle. There's a bend in it here, you can see, and it's pointed back towards the rear of the vehicle. What that means is when we're driving along, you're not having any water that might splash, isn't going to be splashed up and then get pushed up the pipe by wind. It's always pointing backwards. And from the outside of the vehicle, you can just about see the end of the exhaust pipe here. So that's how we've done that. And I'll check back in with you in a bit. Bye. Hi. So now I'm wiring things in. Last night when it was late, it was too dark to show you, but all I've done was the heat source Propex heater. I've attached a nozzle at the back here, ready for the gas hose. We've got our air vent in, we've got our auto gas filler nozzle. So all I did was opened up the two screws to the access panel, and the wires that were provided have plug sockets on them, and they only fit on specific clips. So I don't need to show you that because it's painfully obvious. You undo these two screws, you open it up, and you plug the wires in, and then do it back up again with these rubber grommets sealing it. And that's it. Oh, hiccups, pardon me. What I also did was I've prepared this piece of wood at the right height for the facing. This is going to be what you see eventually once it's fixed in place. You won't see the screws down here because of the floor level coming. So I've just marked on a hole here, and I'm going to cut for the pipe to come from the heater going out through here. So I'm going to run these wires around behind to where my electrics are going to be. Hey, okay, so now I have installed the heater. We have the vent attached going through here. Through this piece of wood here, held on with Jubilee clips. Just cut the right length of hose here, just cut that with a Stanley knife. I've put the wires so that they're running away from the body of the heater in case it gets hot. Just some simple things for fixing the cables to a wall, running all the way back to here, and then back through into the next compartment where I have all of my wiring. I've also put the gas line on. That's held onto the fixture here. If you can see, I think so. Yeah. So got the gas line on there. Again, pushed on, tight fit, and then held on with a Jubilee clip. Okay, so I've marked on the holes as I mentioned, and then I've drilled round with a 2mm drill bit, and then there were still some fairly solid bits of metal in between my drill holes. So it wouldn't just come out. So then I went around with my 3mm drill bit, having done the 2mm already, and what that does is it'll just widen those holes so you end up getting a fairly well cut line. If you try and go straight to the 3mm, then if you drill too close to the previous hole, the drill bit will just keep slipping into the hole next to it. then as you see here, that then I've just taken a rough chisel and tapped it, and the whole piece has come out. And then our vent just slots in nicely into place like that. So then I'll just pilot hole the 2 holes for the screws here, and we're done with that. And then next I'm going to do exactly the same thing up here on the van, somewhere about here, for our gas line auto gas. Okay, so we've got the vent in, and I've just drilled, and I made a line so I knew where the shelf is coming to. The shelf won't be coming up tight here, it's coming back here, so if there's any gas leaking it'll go down the vent. But I've drilled a small hole in here, and then what we do, I take you outside, is we've marked on with a pair of compasses, or a compass as you might call it, a circle on here. And now all I'm going to do is go along with my small drill bit and start drilling out holes on the inside of my 7 centimetre line. Car coming. And not getting run over by cars as they go past is a good idea. So yeah, we're just going around like this. Okay. Yep, that's great. Hey, okay, so I've gone ahead, I've drilled it, and then put some masking tape on, and then cut with the jigsaw to give it a fairly nice smooth round shape, which does fit. Lovely, lovely, nice tight fit. We like that. I made a complete cock up, and I put the notches sideways when actually they should have been up and down, which no harm at all. But then I've put the notches up and down, because when you attach it, that means the little arms that stick out are going the right direction for when you put your filler nozzle hose on. Right, so then that will slot in there. Now, let me take you around here and show you. Over this way. So, because we're attaching it to a thin-skinned vehicle, as in the metal is very thin, it doesn't have a lot of insulation or anything like that we're sandwiching, we need to cut these screws down ever so slightly. Because what happens is, this bit goes in the outside, this piece then goes on inside the vehicle, and then these screws here go through here into these little holes, and that was what holds it tight. But if they're too long, what happens is the heads of them will stick out inside, and that could inhibit the smooth movement of the gas filler nozzle. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold them with a pair of pliers like so, take my angle grinder with a cutting disc on it, and literally just cut the very tips of them off. Right, see you in a sec. Tell me when you're filming. Alright. Okay, hey, yeah, so we are just putting, yeah, okay, so we've just put some framing sealant, window framing sealant on this. I did a much tidier job, but then Jamie decided to stop the recording and put the thing on, so it's a bit messy, but I'm going to blame him. That's alright. That's nonsense. So come on around here.
Nonsense.
If in doubt, blame someone else. Right, we're just going to put this through. You can see I did have it on before, but I took it off just to demonstrate, to show you guys how we do it. Then we press this on with the little lugs going into the notches in the metalwork, and we press this on. Lovely. We've got all the sealant squidging out the edges. That's what we want to make sure it's a nice clear seal. Then I'm going to go the other side. I'll bring you around, and Jamie, if you hold this on.
Yeah.
So then what we're going to do is come around the other side with our screws, which have had the ends cut off, and I'm just going to fire those in through the back of the housing like this. Okay, so I'll be putting this housing, oh yeah, one other thing is I attached this pipe. The pipe goes on, and there's no rubber washers or anything, but these pipes have a perfect fit. The two metal faces fit together flush, so then when you tighten these up, then it makes a nice gas seal. Do this beforehand so you don't put any excess strain on the bodywork by trying to twist too hard. So now this piece is going on like so, and then I'll just put these screws in, and there we have it with the 6 screws put on, so it's all held in place. Hey! So now we've got the gas fixture down here. I've put the gas bottle in, and what I've done is I've got a ratchet strap and I've just fed it through a cut at the back here onto the metal bodywork, right? This is onto the solid metal strut. So then you just crank up your ratchet strap like so. Oh, yes, there we go. And that is good and solid. You could turn the whole vehicle upside down just and shake it and it would still stay in place. Not that we're going to be doing that. Hello, hello. Right, so I'm going to give you the last little explanation of the gas system that we've done, because I realised I've missed some little bits. So quick little doodle. We've got our gas bottle. Lovely, that's a terribly shaped bottle. Let's try that again. We've got our gas bottle, gasket system. Now on the top of that bottle, it's got your regulator, and it's got a couple of pipes coming out of it, just short threaded pipes coming out of it. Now those pipes, they're clearly marked on the instructions. One is going for your filler system, so that's going to be on the outside of the vehicle. You will have seen in the video, you've got that external nozzle, and that'll be that sort of silver coloured corrugated metal pipe that's attaching onto here, and that's a screw fit that goes onto there with a copper compression seal. And that's a metal one because that pumps gas, liquid gas in, LPG, at a high pressure. Then you've got a single pipe coming out, but in fact on the van what we've got is we've got a gas heater and we've got the gas cooker as well. So what we did is we just put a Y piece onto here, which is, as it sounds, it's a Y-shaped metal piece with the correct fittings so that it screws on and is gas safe, so it's a nice tight fit on it. And then on the end of this, I think the nozzle is slightly this kind of shape, so that you get the idea, so that basically your rubber hose will press onto it, and then you put a Jubilee clip on there and tighten it up. On both of your U's you'll have that, and then you've got your gas cooker, for example, up here. That's a really badly drawn gas cooker, but you get the idea, which will have the nozzle coming out of it. And then you've just got your pipe going onto there, and then we've got your Propex heater. Let's go, that's a Propex heater, well it is now anyway. And so then, yeah, you have your rubber hose going over that piece. It'll press over, and then you put your Jubilee clip onto it and tighten it up. And then that pipe will go, again, the same way, over the end of the Y bend, and then you'll have your Jubilee clip on there that makes it nice and tight. Now, one suggestion I'd make is once you've filled up your system, put some gas in it when you go to the petrol station. Then what you can do is, don't do it with a lighter. A lot of people say you can test for gas leaks with a lighter, which you can. However, if there's a very, very slow leak, then it's not necessarily going to catch fire. And I don't really like mixing open flames with gas leaks. It kind of scares the out of me. So don't do that. Get some very, very soapy water. And then, yeah, just put your soapy water over everything that you've done which has any kind of connection on it. And turn the system on, and that will make sure if you have any bubbles or anything, then you know you've got a leak. Thankfully we did ours all nice and tight and firm, don't over tighten Jubilee clips, and it all worked and didn't give any bubbles. Now again, if you're not confident with gas and you're not confident how to do it, then please get someone else to do it or check it for you. Alright, cool guys, see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching.